Oh,
Tweet. Oh no.
hi, Internet.
Hello, Internet.
Oh God, it's the internet.
Who let the Internet in here?
It's a good question.
Who's not practicing social network distancing?
Me.
Oh,
Hey, there it is.
hey, we're online.
We're on the internet.
On the Internet.
Whoa.
Whoa. Jeez.
Sorry, that was me slamming my abnormally heavy glass down onto the coaster on a glass table.
Maybe get
In
like a
a-
sponge or something.
This is literally a room with no soft surfaces in it except the seat of my chair
Love that song.
and my muscle tone.
And your fleshiness.
Oh no, what are you doing since you can't go to the gym? Are you turning into a soft person? I couldn't come up with a good joke there.
I always was. That's the problem. Like ever since I took that job, I stopped going to the gym. I just
Oh.
was good because I was on my feet all day and I was lifting shit for.
Why are you flabby, little man?
I was running for a while, but then when I woke up in the mornings, I was like, I don't have to do that, so I stopped.
That's a good.
I
plan.
should start doing push-ups again. Do my 100 push-ups a day. It helps.
How do you do 100 a day? That seems impossible.
You, you put your hands in front of you and then yeah.
And
I also do incline ones where you put your feet on the bed and then you're facing down. Those are a lot harder. Hardest ones, however, are the ones where you got your hands together like this.
the
and then you're pushing. It's
those,
all
those are
triceps.
DD push-ups.
Yeah, it's all triceps. So yeah, those are rough. Anyway,
I don't want to do any of those.
me neither.
But
That's why I
did
don't.
do 10 miles on the bicycle today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen has she started taking walks. Talks to her sister. It's kind of nice.
It's weird. That's what I do when I'm riding my bicycle is talk to Jen's sister.
Really.
Strange world.
It really is, isn't it? How do I read?
Who would
I
have
mean,
thought?
all around me are familiar faces. Worn out places.
All right. Where is our live stream on our videos? I want to look at the chat. And unlike Twitch, I can see all the chat immediately.
That's the weirdest design choice. I don't know why. Because it
really
records it.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Like Twitch is just it's silly. It's just silly. It really
Yeah.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
let's not
Yeah. Let's not beat around the bush.
let's not pretend
Yeah.
Twitch is silly.
So silly.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of silly gooses over there. At Twitch.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of silly, the first thing that comes to mind, Mr. Bean,
Yeah.
and then Twitch.
Right. That's fair.
I think so. I need to shave again. Why did you shave? What was the deal with that? Like you just got sick of the beard?
Yeah, I'm like, I was getting kind of itchy with the weather constantly changing, and I was just like, there's nobody around here but me. So buy beard and start fresh. Scrub it, scrub some clean skin for a couple of weeks, and then start growing it again. Yeah. That's about it.
I'm way overdue for a trim. Hello, Bill. Bill's here.
I gotta say, having two monitors is helping a lot these days. I was able to
Yeah.
watch my TV show and take notes
Nice.
instead of having one in a little tiny baby window and then the other one.
A little tiny baby window.
Well, the worst is when I would watch it in like the guest bedroom and I'd be taking notes on my phone. It's like they were illegible by the end of it. I'm just like, yeah, or I'd have to pause every like 2 minutes. It was terrible. That's why I stopped taking notes on Bamfcast movies too. I used to do that, if you remember, way back when. And I'm like, no, I spend most of the movie like typing into my phone, and this isn't working. So yeah.
I remember when BJ had a notebook.
Yeah. I
Oh,
still
man.
have that notebook.
Yeah. He wrote in
Are
it
there
every
any notes
day.
in it?
There are still notes, but there are no further notes after like episode 20 or whatever.
Oh, really? No, Chuck remembers it, so it must have been later than that.
Yeah. It was mostly just for noting the time of the glorious expressions of freedom.
Makes sense.
It started off real ambitious, and then I would just, I don't know. There was probably one movie that broke me where I was like, I have no need for writing anything down about this. It was all garbage,
Yeah.
and then I got out of the habit.
Was it Sister Act 2?
Sister Act 2 is not garbage, you idiot.
Why would you say that, Chuck?
Because it's called Back in the Habit. And he got out of the habit, so.
Nah, I see.
So, are we going to do a podcast?
Debatable. We're gonna do
Kind of
the thing
ambivalent
we've
about it.
been doing.
Do we have stuff other than our main event?
I have one thing.
Okay.
One thing.
Yeah.
I will have one thing maybe next week.
I'm sure you boys have your basketball show to talk about.
You're goddamn right. Yeah. Yeah, we do, Chuck.
Okay, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Y'all are acting like you ain't got nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I've been on a kick of just like rewatching some movies or just keep going on my random stand-up specials or whatever thing. I'm just like, what's this?
Yeah, I've honestly seen like somewhere in the department of 50 to 60 random Simpsons episodes since quarantine started. So, but I mean, you know, what is there to talk about? They're later Simpson episodes. All I can say is I actually get a laugh out of literally every episode. There's at least one thing that makes me laugh. So,
Yeah, it just used to
Even
be
though-
like 10 things per episode. It's
yeah. And that's the thing is like you're comparing it to like, okay, like every episode's fucking gold. So that's why everyone's like, oh, Simpsons sucks now. And it's like, there's actually good stuff
Yeah.
thrown in. But it's usually like Homer like just poking his head in and saying something stupid. And
Well, while
It
we're
always
talking
works.
unofficially, I guess, I saw a weird headline today that was like, man, that is a horrible typo. Because I was like, what the fuck? And it was trying to talk about the season finale of The Simpsons, and it said series finale of The Simpsons. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I would have heard about that. Like,
yeah, so
I
it's
feel
from
like
a British site.
yeah, I was like, yeah, maybe. I mean, well, it was Enemy, I think. Is that British?
Yes.
Yeah, well, like they used it at the headline, but then it said season everywhere else. Like I was like, oh, was
Yeah,
it just a
that's
typo?
just-
I was like, it feels like it's clickbait, maybe. It's like I was like, no, I would have heard about that before now, right?
Yes,
nah.
I think
Yeah.
we all would have.
I mean, I'm like, that's going to be a big deal when that happens.
I mean, we're at the point where it's basically going to take one of the main people passing away or wanting to quit for that show to end.
I mean, aside from Harry Shearer, who has quit like 16 times.
Well, it's always been
Yeah.
contract negotiation stuff, I think, mostly.
Yeah.
And some on, I think that's how they finally talked them into getting rid of certain characters and things like that. Was kind of like, hey, that character goes where I go, Which do you want?
What? Which would be why you don't see Apu anymore.
Yeah, I believe they retired him a season or two
Yeah.
back, right? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
maybe even more. I don't know. That's how long it's been. Like Simpsons is like this. I just realized that today. I was like, Simpsons is like this endless timeline. You can just be like, feels like this. Even though I'm older than the Simpsons, I'm just like, it feels like it's always been here.
Well, yeah, the new ones are season 31.
Yeah.
31.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's weird. Just weird. That doesn't even count the Tracy Ullman stuff.
Right. Yeah, I'm just like,
Which-
that's why it just feels like the Simpsons have always been around, like as long as I can remember it.
Yeah, and you don't even realize how often they go back. They have flashbacks or whatever, and they will still animate them in the old style of like Tracy Ullman show, and they'll use the original Homer voice and everything. So, yeah.
Anyway,
I still like it, but yeah, FX shows them basically every night. So
well, they're all on Disney Plus, and you have that, right? So
yeah, I do. So maybe I'll watch them there. I don't know, but it's just like whenever we want to eat dinner, it's always like, all right, let's find something that we're not going to care about that much, and it's always Simpsons.
well, I like
And then at some point, Family Guy comes on, and I'm like, fuck, where's the remote? Why is the remote so far away? why can't I get to the remote fast enough?
Yeah. I like that certain beloved properties are treated well by whatever streaming service that has it. Like even if it's just little things, I like that the Seinfeld, there's like they took the randomize button and made it yada yada yada, and it's actually designed to play like the more popular episodes first, kind of thing. You know, so
Yeah, I mean,
just for
FX,
people
they're
are just like, man, I don't know, whatever, play an episode.
Yeah, FX just goes in order.
Yeah.
And it takes them, you know, because I want to say they run like 8 a day, so it takes them, you know, 3 days to get through a season. But there's a few seasons where it's like, oh, I didn't even realize that's 28 days later behind you until you moved your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Going
I've
topical.
noticed a couple seasons they skip episodes for whatever reason. Like I don't know why. It always makes me curious to see that sort of stuff. But watching that, all we care about, it seems like, is like, all right, who are the guest voices on this one, and can we identify them before they show up at the end? So all we need to do is make this podcast get famous enough so we can be on The Simpsons and just join literally everyone else on Earth as having a guest voice on Simpsons at some point.
That seems like the next logical step, like semi-famous podcast to guest voice on The Simpsons. It seems like there's nothing in between, like just like selling Casper
Yeah.
mattresses, and then you get a call. It's like Matt Groening, and he's like, "Hey, heard that podcast of yours."
We were going to put this on ZipRecruiter, but we heard your ad and we just figured we'd cut straight to the chase and come to you for it.
Yeah.
Not even going to use your promo code. Yeah. Anyway,
All right, let's do a real podcast or something like it.
Everybody recording?
yes, I'm recording. I only started like a minute ago, so
Okay.
all that sweet Simpsons talk, you're going to have to use the
Hey,
The other thing
BJ,
I
talk
really
talk
wanted.
again, BJ.
No, I don't want to
Okay.
talk.
All right. Just making sure you didn't go robot-y again.
There's nothing wrong with my audio.
Oh Jesus.
Domo arigato. All right, one more clap. All right, and welcome to the Bamfcast Variety Hour,
Hey!
episode
Yeah.
something
Bamfcast
6,
Variety Hour.
7, 8, 9. We don't
Happy
know.
Variety Hour.
I don't even know why we're numbering these. They don't. It doesn't matter. It's another
I'm
variety
Harlow.
hour. I am Harlow. No, you're BJ.
Oh, sorry.
Know your role, jabroni. I am Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
Yeah, and we're not doing what we normally do, so you don't get that spiel. We are doing a bastardized version of our normal thing because we're still kind of doing our homework movie. Like sometimes it produces like a beat by beat remake or recap by us, and sometimes it's just like things happen and whatever. Here's our rating, So I'm saying it's bastardized because we're just doing whatever right now.
Well, it's a lot of stuff that just might not have made it into a normal episode otherwise.
So it's kind of like a
But
long
it's
second half,
homework.
but it's content. It's
Mhm.
Corona content. Yeah. So
Good.
but our
Yeah,
homework
way to
movie.
get pumped, Chuck. way to be fired up for it, buddy.
But our homework movie of the week, we all watched Spencer Confidential, the Netflix sudden let's bring Spencer for hire sort of back, but not really thing with Mark Wahlberg. Like,
Great.
Yeah.
It makes me curious because the whole Spencer thing was a book series before that. So I'm wondering if this hews more towards that or if it's just like,
it claims
tell you.
it claims to be based on a book by the guy who took over the Spencer series, I believe. So it's like,
Yes.
but it's like everyone says like, oh, that guy doesn't write Spencer, he just does his own thing or something like that. Like there's purists or whatever, like the people are like, not non-Frank Herbert Dune can suck a dick.
wow. It's,
Word.
I don't know. Just there's people like that. Like
fandom is insane, isn't it?
Well,
Fandom is awful.
let me fill you in real quick because 2 weeks ago when we started talking about doing this movie, I was like, you know what? I should watch some Spencer for Hire.
Okay.
So I went back and I've since then watched the first 10 episodes or so of Spencer for Hire.
I thought you were going to say like I've watched all 3 seasons.
No, I'm not insane. I watched 10 episodes. This movie is nothing like Spencer for Hire.
I kind of figured.
Literally,
There's no Robert Urich.
no names of characters, names of 2 characters, and the fact that Spencer wants to do the right thing is literally the only connection to the television show.
Right.
So there you go. There's your backstory.
Thanks for doing all that homework so that you could give us a 30-second recap of how
I
different.
was.
How were those 10 episodes?
They suck. I mean, they probably didn't at the time, obviously, because it lasted 3 seasons. But you go
There
back to
weren't as many
certain
options back then, Chuck.
Yeah, I know, but you go back to certain shows and it's like, yeah, this is just so by the numbers. Except for the fact that Spencer murders a lot of people.
You
Like
have my attention.
Like primetime, he's just like in the opening scene was like someone's trying to assassinate him and he'll murder 3 dudes. And it also takes place in Boston. I guess that's another connection. Okay. But man, Boston is filled with crime syndicates like crazy. And each week is a new huge crime syndicate that Spencer knows everybody who's in it.
Oh, you mean like the New England Patriots? I mean,
I get that.
Yes, 100%.
I know they're not
But
technically
anyways,
like.
so
in
I wasted
Boston,
10
but
hours of my life
close
watching
enough.
Spencer Fryer. So
No, it wasn't a full 10 hours because they're only 45-minute episodes.
maybe I edited in my own commercials.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, Spencer Confidential.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
This
got
is-
Marky Mark in it.
Yeah, it's a Peter Berg thing because I feel like they go together like Marky Mark and Peter Berg. That's, that old saying, that old idiom. Yeah. But yeah, I don't even know how. Like, I don't want to do a bit by bit recap of this movie.
no,
I don't feel like this
absolutely
is one of those that needs it because this is a weird movie because it's, as you were saying, extremely paint by the numbers. Like, I know I've seen a movie and I know where this is going, and then it'll just do something wild and it's like, that was cool as shit. Why wasn't there more of that? And then back to like, well, I've seen a movie again for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's a very like, okay, there's a mystery conspiracy going on here, and we will get from the beginning of it to the end of it, and you might understand all the components of it, but probably not.
I can recap it. I can recap the plot in, I think, very few words, hopefully. All right.
Let's hear it.
Going chronologically, because that's the way to do it, jumps around in time. But going chronologically, a neighborhood activist in Southie Boston, of course, because I've seen a movie, is like tired of like corporations like buying out the neighborhood, and she starts getting threatened and gets murdered by crime people. And Marky Mark is on the like looking crime people. Well, we don't know at first.
We call
like,
them crimers.
criminals. The people like they were hired by the people actually like the
Crimists.
the criminal syndicates that were actually like taking over the neighborhood. I was trying to do this in few words. Okay.
I used to work for Crimerica. It's terrible.
The pay was criminal. Am I right?
Yeah. But so like she's murdered and Marky Mark's on the case. Like he's kind of taken a personal interest because he knew her and she's in the neighborhood. She was doing good things and he like should have protected her. Like he knew of threats against her and all this and should have done better. So
he was all say hello to your mother.
Yeah.
And actually knew the mother.
Right. Yeah. He said say hi to your mother because I'm gonna have to and tell her you're dead. I'll say hi to your mother. Yeah. That'd be a great scene.
Yes. All of those things.
But anyway, so he goes to like talk to a captain who's like the homicide captain and is like, hey, why aren't you investigating these? He's like, get the fuck out of my office. And then eventually like goes to the guy's house and is like, hey, I need to talk to you. Why aren't you investigating this? And basically sees that the guy is probably a wife beater because there's broken glass and she's got a black eye. And he's like, hey, what's going on here? And then proceeds to beat the shit out of this guy. And goes to jail for it because he assaulted an officer and cops to it. But, so he spends 5 years in jail, gets out and is like, fuck that. I can't be a cop and I'm an ex-con now. I'm just going to go to truck driving school because I've seen Top Gun. And, that's what you do if you can't do your dream job. And it's just like, I'm getting out of Boston and Alan Arkin is there and he's like not his father, but his like mentor. He owns a boxing gym and apparently he sort of raised Spencer. That's like as much as you really get out of the movie.
He's a friendly old man.
And he's just like, I'm going to leave. But then...
he's Alan Arkin. He's great.
Yeah. Like the very same day he gets out, the guy he beat the shit out of gets murdered. And of course, like immediately they're like, hey, where were you? And he's like, I was here. I live with Alan Arkin and Winston Duke, who we didn't mention is in this movie, as a roommate. Because he plays a man named Hawk. And so they're like, oh, okay, you have an alibi, cool. Anyway, and then he's just like, wait, who did murder the captain? And maybe I should get into this, but maybe I should, because now they've also framed another innocent police officer for the murder. And they're like, case closed. Oh well, that was convenient. Bye. And like
he knew this guy at the academy. He was just like, I know him.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. And that's literally like, I'm on the case.
Yeah.
Because he's sitting in truck driving school and not paying attention and just writing down who killed the captain. Why did they kill the captain? It's like, wow, these are amazing notes.
mm-hmm. Well,
What did someone have against Bert Peterson from Mad Men?
it's Marky Mark. That he's putting pen to paper for anything is kind of
What?
kind of good. Yeah.
No.
So he has to get these deep thoughts by Mark Wahlberg out. Who killed Captain? Why? Not me. Nope. X.
Me, cross out.
Other
Everyone
person?
else.
Check mark.
This Spencer thing, let's keep it confidential for now.
I should get a filing cabinet that locks. But so that's basically his motivation. He's like, oh well, the widow's sad because she knows her husband's innocent, and I know he was a good guy, so fuck, I'm on the case. And basically just convinces everyone, hey, I should be on the case. And then he's on the case, and then he solves the case because it was his partner and a bunch of corrupt cops all working for gangsters, and it was his
Because
partner.
they wanted to open a casino.
Yeah, they wanted to turn a dog track into a casino, and they're like, "Well, we got to murder people to do that." because that's basically
trucks of drugs.
I think Alan Arkin actually basically says like to let casinos in is to let corruption or something like he has like some line like that. It's just like you know what you're getting.
All casinos
Yeah.
are corruption,
Right.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's basically it. Like his partner at the time, who was there and pulled him off the captain before he beat him to death, was involved, and they literally macheted the dude's head off too, and then like made it look like this other guy shot himself. So, they're like,
It's basically a lot of setup for Marky Mark to go somewhere and get the shit kicked out of him.
yeah, I was there
But
for
somehow
that.
eventually like win about half the fights maybe and then run away from the other half. But regardless, getting the shit kicked out of him.
Also, the shit bit out of him.
Yeah.
Yes,
He
he
gets
does.
mauled by a dog.
Mauled by a dog.
That scene is amazing.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
guy's like, hey, leave my dog alone.
What are you doing to my dog? Yeah.
As he's getting his arm ripped off by the dog.
Oh god, the way he thinks he's safe, and then the dog opens the gate, and he's like, "What the hell?"
In my Letterboxd review, I attempted to say I would have watched an entire 90-minute movie of Marky Mark getting mauled by a dog, but then my phone was like, "You mean nailed, right?" And I was like, "No, I did not actually," but I published it
Absolutely not.
without catching it, and then I was like, "Man, there's a really uncomfortable thing about his girlfriend, who's his dog, that he was missing while he's not in prison." Because, all right, I'm gonna keep talking about the good before I go to the bad, but yeah. Anyway, the other thing I said is like, watching Marky Mark get his ass kicked, and especially getting mauled by the dog, that was precious, and I loved every minute of it.
Yep.
And then everything involving Winston Duke, I was like, make A Man Called Hawk spin-off movie. That's the movie
Yeah.
I want to see, an entire movie about him. That's what I want to see. Not this.
Yeah, I love that his motivation for joining the whole thing is that one of the guys killed that activist girl's cat.
Yes.
And he's just like, that motherfucker killed a cat. Like this.
Yeah, it's after like a
Count me in.
10-minute explanation of the crime, and he says, "The guy killed a cat."
And
Alan Arkin's like,
ending
that's
with
what you took away from
them beating the activist to death in a parking lot.
Yeah,
He didn't care about that.
Right.
He cared about the cat.
Yes.
yeah, because he goes and carves a cat face into the guy's car.
Yeah.
And slashes all his tires multiple times.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, and then the bad, because I was mentioning there's a joke about Marky Marks just wants to get back to his girlfriend, Pearl, who ends up being this old ass fat ass beagle, I believe. It's so fat I can't even tell, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
That's a sausage
yeah,
dog.
it's a sausage beagle. But,
Love it.
yeah.
It's a good dog.
Beagle dog. Yeah.
Dog's all right.
But the real other girlfriend sort of is Eliza Schlesinger. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's a comedian, I guess, and one of the many people I was speaking about a couple weeks back about my random Netflix adventures of like, I don't know who you are, but I'll press play as long as you're not doing goofy pose or DreamWorks face and or lady comedians doing like the I'm sexy, thing. And it's and she's extremely guilty of that, so I'd never seen her stuff. So this is my first exposure to her, and Holy God. Does she actually talk like that all the time? Or is this like, I'm doing a Boston accent?
I'm pretty sure she's doing a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know because I haven't seen her stuff. But
There are plenty of women who actually speak like that
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
and act like that.
Sure.
But I believe she's putting that on for
Okay.
the sake of the movie,
I don't know.
for the good of the picture, or bad of the picture. I don't know.
Yeah, she's awful. Like everything involving her and that character is awful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be fair and say everything involving that character is awful because that character is supposed to be awful,
Yeah,
and she nails it.
she's doing exactly what the movie told her to do.
Yeah.
Which I'll admit pays off a little bit at the end when she actually does like pick up Alan Arkin and is just like, "Have they been molesting you?"
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was improvising that because Alan Arkin seemed a little confused by the things that she was asking him.
Yeah. All right. Let's address the Celtic in the room because we have a famously long anti-Boston rant thing, I believe, out there, and this movie is unapologetically Bostonian.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be after I heard your reactions. Like I expected it just to be the fucking worst every second of every fucking scene.
Okay, it wasn't
just to be aggressively fucking Boston.
It wasn't the
It's not
SNL
like
sketch
everyone walking
level.
around is Bill Burr in this movie, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an SNL sketch version of Boston, but it's still pretty fucking unapologetically Bostonian in its nature.
I mean that's where the whole thing, that's where the character's always been set. So that's why those two latched onto her. They're like, "Hey, Boston, great, we know that place."
Yeah, so we've been famously anti-Boston, and I was wondering how much that harmed your opinion of the movie.
I didn't mind it.
No?
Well, so
It wasn't-
here's the
yeah.
thing. They start that movie with a Boston song. The first fight scene is set to a Boston song, and I just about lost it as soon as that song kicked in. I was like, "Oh, we're doing this." Like, this is the most obvious thing you could possibly do. And then I was like, "No, this is great." This is the best thing ever because it comes 3 minutes after they establish the prison with a giant title card that says prison.
Okay, can I talk about those for a second because I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed by those. That needs to stop. Like
I thought we were done with those like 2 years ago.
Well, I mean, like I feel like the Marvel movies kind of are like, all right, if they're doing it, it's giant title card location, even though you clearly should probably know the location because there's something on the screen that is letting you know the location. But like this movie does it.
Realism in text is popular right now. Yeah. So
This one does it, and I
That's
just
why it's
started.
happening.
I just started playing Control, and it fucking doesn't. Like it's just like,
It's great in Control.
oh, it's so good in Control.
is it though? I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I'm
Yes.
over.
Because they
No.
only do it the first time you enter a place, and it never shows up again.
Yeah. I mean, like in this movie, okay, like when it says prison, I was like, okay, that's great. And then it really doesn't do it again until the last scene where they're eating lobster and it puts up lobster. On
Well,
the
no,
screen.
it does it.
It does it
several
several times, yeah.
Does it?
Because
It never
yeah.
seemed
For
it never,
Southie and
yeah, but it never seemed like jokey. You know, it was just
The
we're
lobster
establishing
one
where
was
this
pretty
location is.
fucking jokey.
Well, sure, that's what I meant. Like the last one is like, all right, you nailed it with the prison one, but this one I didn't need. So,
Yeah,
but whatever. That's the last scene in the movie, and I was so on board with it by then.
like the whole movie,
Yeah,
or
'cause
just the
we haven't
title
really,
thing.
We haven't really sold the action scenes because I really like Peter Berg is manipulative as fuck, but in a way that I appreciate because it works. You know, like it actually, like during the fight scenes, I was like having trouble staying seated. Like I was like, yeah, you're gonna beat the fuck out of him. Yes. You know, like, and like there's something about the way he builds stuff and the way he films them and the way, you know, the guys are talking shit at each other. Like that's just gets me worked up. Like it fucking works. And so many of these fight scenes, like when he kicks that guy in the balls in the prison one, I'm just like, because he's like, you fucking kicked me? Did you just kick me?
Why are you kicking me, bro?
Yeah. And then he just fucking destroys that guy's, you know, he fucking Omega cops the shit out of that guy. And you're just like, yes, yes. And like every action scene, I kind of like, I had that, like when you see when you keep seeing the guys file into the taqueria or wherever it is that he's at, you know, ordering a whole, like,
Oh God.
like,
Yes.
I don't know if he's just waiting for them because he just keeps ordering things.
I think he was just ordering things?
I don't know. His order was like $95, and it's like, no, dude, you don't need this much food. And you know, Hawk's not eating it because he's like vegan or some shit.
He was some
just
level
got out of
beyond
jail.
vegan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know, like the guys keep filing in, and then you finally see the guy with the machete, and you're like, all right, let's do this. You know, and I'm just amazed, like no one got their face dipped in a fryer or anything like that. But
They still got suitably wrecked, especially how that scene ends.
oh, yeah. You know, like, and that's the thing is like we always appreciate dudes getting fucking wrecked, and yeah,
Yeah,
dudes get wrecked pretty good in this movie.
I think it's because I've gotten spoiled because we've watched a couple of stuntman directed things here lately.
Yeah.
That I started to not appreciate the edits in this movie for some of the fight sequences. Like I felt like they weren't awful. I've seen much worse, especially in modern day movies. But I was like, I feel like he's done action better than this movie. Like there are things happening in the scenes I love, like Winston Duke putting that guy through the tiled wall. I mean, you know,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
was fucking amazing. But like, I mean, like I said, like there were really high highs in this movie but for me, like there was so much of it that was very grating. Like just the mundaneness of the between action scene beats not being particularly funny. I mean, almost coming off as like Michael Bay trying to be funny, sort of like.
I don't even feel like it was trying to be funny. It just felt like it was just trying to maintain just this like base level of interest throughout. It's weird because it will jarringly cut from like, oh man, that was an awesome fight scene, to here's a very tragic moment scored to tragic score as the wife discovers her husband's body, you know, and it's like the tone of this movie is all over the place. But
Yeah.
the thing about it is that the highs are so high that it's like I can sit through the rest of this knowing that, you know, these scenes are going to keep happening. And God, just I'm sitting there and I'm like, they've established this semi truck.
Yep, Chekhov's semi.
And I'm like, I've seen a movie. I know how movies work. And then I'm like, they're not going to do it, are they? They're going to
And then
forget
do
they
it.
established that semi truck, and then holy shit.
Yep.
So I mean, it's a very much a you've seen a movie. Here's all the things you like about movies, and we have to fill the rest of the time with stuff. But there's God, just the scene of him in the convenience store trying to steal what he thinks is the VCR. He's like, "Give me the tape, bro." And he's like, "That's the cable box." He's like, the security footage is in the cloud, and he's just like, "The cloud? What's the cloud? I don't give me the
Give me
cloud."
the cloud. I found that like Marky Mark isn't that much older than me. I found that kind of really weird. He'd only been in prison for 5 years. I'm pretty sure Cloud stuff
It
existed 5 years ago.
no,
Like,
well,
but he's
I mean,
also an idiot.
It had, but not to
Fair.
like normal people that don't do tech at all.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm fully aware of the timeline and people like sort of comprehending the cloud, which is only about half of business users right now.
okay, it
Yeah.
just seemed weird to me that he was like,
I think they just
I
wanted to
don't
present
do
him-
computers. Like computers have been around for
Well,
all
he
your
had to
life,
have
I think
Winston.
they just wanted to present him as enough of a Luddite.
Yeah. Because he had to have Winston Duke do the entire, like, okay, play the surveillance footage. How does any of this work? And I appreciate when they zoomed in on the license plate and it was pixelated as shit.
yes.
They were just like, well, that's it. We can't see the license plate. And I was like, oh, wow.
There's no
This goes
enhance
against
button.
every cop thing I've ever seen.
Mhm.
There was no enhance button. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
He didn't enhance.
So,
Nope.
I don't know. One swerve in an otherwise very predictable story.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I liked it a lot. I mean, it's cliche as fuck, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. And honestly, I would watch a half dozen more movies with those two.
Oh, yeah,
I
when they-
really would.
Even the thing they set up at the end, I was like, okay, right now. I would press play on that
Yeah.
right now.
That's the movie that leads into the series that I like. I want to give me 10 episodes of
Yeah, problem
know.
is they'll never get those two for
No,
a 10 episode show.
no, we might
Especially
get one
not
of
Winston.
these.
Winston Duke is just going up.
Yeah.
So,
We may get one of these every 2 years,
mhm.
maybe.
I'd be
I'll
into
take
that.
I think they've already said they've greenlit another one. So
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and it's weird that I have that feeling, especially because like last week they're like they're gonna make it another Extraction, and I was like, I don't know if I need another Extraction, but like this one, I'm like, yeah, sign me up. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't want it to sound like I did. I just like, I think I think maybe I was just looking at it a little bit wrong. Like I think because the highs were so high and like feeling like they were starting to be in a better movie, that I started to judge the whole thing differently. And then when it sank back down to like mediocre buddy thing, like when it wasn't being, like, I don't feel like it played off the buddy cop thing or not, whatever, the buddy partner thing as much as it should have. Like they kind of were mostly independent of each other throughout most of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I mean, I would watch more because maybe they'd just lean in that. They'd be like, all right, let's like set aside Alan Arkin and write him out, and really hopefully write out the girlfriend.
Their relationship is much more interesting on the show.
Sure.
Like Spencer and Hawk on the show Hawk on the series is amazing. So I was kind of disappointed that he was just like, oh, and here's your roommate Hawk. I'm like, what? No.
Yeah, but he gets a redemptive line about the shotgun. That was pretty good. And it goes meta for a second. He's like, hey, that was a really good line. Is that ad lib, bro? Oh, did I just run the take? Shit.
But yeah, it's another. I'm surprised that this is another above average Netflix thing. Like Netflix is still just shitting out content, but there have been at least 3 things in the last 4 or 5 months where I'm like, wow, that's you're making movies for me, and I appreciate you.
Well, like maybe I'm also judging on that because like I think my Netflix scale got tipped a little bit when they were like, hey, here's a fucking Michael Bay movie, and I know people shout on it, but it's like it's a fucking Michael Bay movie. Like that movie's nuts. Yeah, like it's awesome. Not it's not Armageddon level. Like let's fucking destroy entire cities, but I mean that's a fucking Michael Bay movie, and Extraction is like gritty and John Wickish and like stuntman horrific, and it's like, and then this was like, yeah, but it's a buddy cop thing where they're only sort of kind of hanging out. Mostly other people are going to interfere, and Marky Mark gets his ass kicked a lot, and there's some fantastic action scenes and annoying Boston things. It's like, we get it. It's in Boston.
I love Alan Arkin just continuing to be pissed that the guy hit him in the eye.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want from me? You hit me in the eye.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah. Give me another movie with the 3 of them. He finally ditched the girlfriend, but just give me a movie with those 3, and I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, it made perfect sense why he was running from her for the first third of the movie.
Yeah, they pretty much proved that by the end of the movie for sure.
Yeah. She yells at that prison guard, calls him Shawshank.
I must not have cut that.
Yeah, I think it's just an excuse for someone to say Shawshank in a Boston accent.
It's a very Boston word.
Yeah.
There were 2 or 3 moments I had to look away to do actual work because
work.
I watched it today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, check you out having a job and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm fancy.
Check out Mr. fucking Big Shot over there.
Mr. Fancy Pants, Mr. Elite with the paycheck and shit.
Only get furloughed 1 week a month. Yeah, I see how it is. Fucking essential.
He's Mr. Double Bagger over here. We're all eating single patties.
Oh, man. So, Chuck, what else did you watch?
Just real quick. I've been working through just piles of discs and stuff, trying to figure out like what in my library is worth keeping. And just went on this tear of like indie horror stuff, usually stuff I don't pay attention to because there's big budget horror stuff to watch. But anyway, after just hitting like 5 in a row that just absolutely sucked, there's this one movie called Hunger. It's a 2009 movie. It's on Prime. Maybe it was just because the last 5 were so terrible, but this one was actually pretty good. And I just wanted to put a word out there for this movie. It's kind of like a low budget Saw movie, but if there was only one trap.
Okay.
That's the best way to describe it. That's kind of demeaning. I don't mean to do that, but if I had to give like an elevator pitch of that movie, that's what it is.
It's called Hunger?
Hunger. Yeah. 2009. It's super gross. I will never, ever in a million years watch it again. But It
The
it
only
was
one showing up on IMDb, just so you know, is one about somebody leading inmates in a Northern Irish prison in a hunger strike.
no, that ain't
The
it.
first Steve McQueen movie.
Mm-mm.
Huh. Well, is there an alternate name for it? Because IMDb doesn't seem to have it, which is crazy.
I mean, unless maybe they've got a 2008 date on it.
Let me do more title matches. I hate IMDb. Just so you
IMDb's
know.
gotten terrible.
Yep, there it is. It's like
Okay.
got a hand creeping up in
Yeah.
black and white. Yeah.
So
5 strangers struggle when a madman imprisons them.
yes,
Yep. Okay. So recommended.
interesting. It's interesting. It is worth one viewing.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be.
one viewing.
It's not going to be something I think people are going to bust out and be like, "Oh, let's watch that again." It's not one of those. But it's just one of those where you're like, "How are they going to end this?" And then you're like, "Oh, that's how they ended it." Huh.
All right.
It's just one of those where you're like, I want to see where this goes. Okay, I've seen where it goes. All right,
Mm-hmm.
good on you. No, thank you. I never want to see this again. so way to go. I appreciate what you did. Get it away from me.
Hunger satisfies.
Yeah.
I had a few Snickers.
So anyway, check that out. It's on Prime. You've got Prime. Everyone
right.
has Prime. That's all I got.
Okay. I guess the rest of us just been watching more Michael Jordan, huh?
I watched
yeah.
a movie called Extraction last week.
Oh, yeah. We
That's
didn't
right,
really
BJ
get your
wasn't
thoughts
here
on
for
it.
that.
You skipped
Yeah.
the week.
Extraction kicked ass. I liked it. It was Lives Are Expendable sort of violent. The fight scenes in that were on point. I really enjoyed those. Other than that, I mean, it was kind of just, you know how a movie goes, so here's what happens. But yeah, I know you guys said like maybe we don't need another Extraction, but give me another Captain Australia
Tyler
beating the shit out
Rake.
of dudes.
Captain Boomerang, I believe.
Action
is
has a
the
new
right
name. Tyler
Yes.
Rake.
Yes, I would like to see Tyler Rake kick more ass. That's all I have to say. Like, you guys covered everything else about the fucking thing, so
Tyler Rake, put your ass in the grass.
awful name.
Mhm.
You won't leave your seat.
The trucks out of nowhere. There were 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those were fucking magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
I could watch trucks come from off screen and blast dudes all day.
Yeah, driving in that country is a perilous thing.
Well, I love that in the middle of the fight, there's like people trying to ride their motor scooters between 2 people fighting.
Yes.
Hey, they got to get to where they're going.
And I hate to say, I feel like that happens. Like that wasn't just, oh, we did this for the movie. It's like, no, that probably actually happens.
Oh yeah. Watch some like dash cam footage from any country. But what was that? India or Pakistan?
Bangladesh, I believe.
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Watch dash cam from any of those 3 places, and you will find exciting stuff.
That's one
Yeah.
way to put it.
Get yourself on Live Leak and check out some hot dash cams.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, only because I've been there multiple times, I could say this safely, I believe. But like Mexican people, face to face on the street, the nicest human beings you would ever want to meet. Like, care about everybody. A refreshing feeling that we as Americans don't enjoy.
Do not share
Yeah,
in
do not
any
share in any way. Like, like I have nothing, but what I have, I will give you half kind of mentality. Except you put them behind a wheel, and then everything is expendable. I must get where I was going. Fuck everything else. This barrier of car makes me immune to everything. It's amazing. Like, it's absolutely amazing. So, yeah. But yeah, Extraction's good. And the crazy like spinny camera, like, faked one shot thing. I know it was just like some sort of projection of them going down a street, but that was just making me nervous for bystanders. Like, I mean, because he's just like sitting there talking to the kid, like weaving in and out of humans and bicycles and stuff, and I'm like, I know this isn't real because it can't be. Like, you can't put this many people in danger. Like, I don't think, but now I'll probably see some behind the scenes like, yeah, no,
yeah.
we are like
500
300
people
stuntmen
died.
just to stand by and like stand there as a car weaved around them, and a camera car.
Their family got a bonus
yeah.
if they actually got hit. So.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was just like that was just making me incredibly nervous. I was like, get off the street. He's not even looking. Like, anyway.
All right, now I've said my piece for stuff I've been watching, so you guys can
Okay.
talk about Michael Jordan for half an hour.
Well, I
We're
will.
not going to talk about that long.
Yeah, I was going to say I watched one other thing, and we'll do nothing but Last
Yeah.
Dance, and so you can tune out if you're non-sports caring or whatever.
Mhm.
I get it until this. I mean, but yeah, I will explain. The only other thing I rewatched that I wanted to make note of is I decided to rewatch the Fright Night remake. Because I was like, man, I'm starting to miss David Tennant from Who You already. So
Uh-huh.
I want to revisit this, and also just another dose of the poots. Why not? But yeah, I mean that's
right. Poots is in
yeah,
it.
it's a really fun movie. Like I that one baffles me because I still I every 5-10 years I try to give the original one another try, and I just still like I really like the premise. I just don't like the original movie like really at all. Like
Yeah.
I've said that before, but it's just I can't. It's one of those I just can't quite get behind it for some reason. It's sort of like Lost Boys. I'm a little more favorable towards Lost Boys. Like I mostly like Lost Boys, but every once in a while I watch it, I'm like about certain things. But yeah, like
I've never seen either.
oh, Lost Boys. I think is an easier
Well,
one to
I've never
approach
seen-
now.
I've never
Oh,
seen
either
either
Fright
Fright
Night.
Night.
Fright Night. Okay.
And I've never seen Lost Boys.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
What order should I watch those three in?
I think you can most easily appreciate the new Fright Night because I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
It's David Tennant.
yeah.
so,
I mean,
who I like.
Colin Farrell's on point as he has been. Strangely, like he's that silent. We've said this before. Like Colin Farrell's that guy you just hire, and it's like he's a workhorse. Like he's going to put in some kind of interesting performance, but he's not going to make a big deal about it. It's not one of those like I'm doing a thing.
He also feels like he hit that McConaughey realm where everybody was like, him? You're going to cast him?
Sort
and then
of.
all of a sudden everyone realized, wait, this guy's like actually really fucking good.
Yeah. That was my slight diss on some people like Joaquin Phoenix, where it's like you just fucking play a role. You don't have to like I've done the so method. I may be insane now. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's like okay, bravo, sir.
Was it Lawrence Olivier who was just like, yeah, it's called acting.
Yeah, like you don't have to live the part. You just
Yeah,
show
right.
up and become the other person.
You show up and you act.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, like Colin Farrell's one of those people. He feels like someone who might do that, but he doesn't. I feel like he's just like, no, I'm going to show up and fucking be nuts on the camera, and then just be like, oi, I'm fucking Colin Farrell off the camera, whatever. Yeah,
It felt like around Daredevil time,
sure.
Colin Farrell was going to become that kind of annoying thing.
Well, they were
Yeah,
they were
Daredevil's not really the one you can apologize for.
they were doing that Brad Pitt
Daredevil's
push.
pretty
They were
good,
like,
yeah.
look at how pretty he is, and we're going to put him
Yeah.
in period pieces with his shirt open and hair wet and stuff. And ooh, look, it's Colin Farrell again. And so like whenever. That works for the ladies, and then men have immediately like, I don't think I like that guy because, I'm emasculated by him, basically. And then people eventually come around and be like, well, wait, good actor though, huh? Okay.
Well, that's the thing in those weird Harry Potter sequel things, whatever, Magnificent Beasts or whatever the fuck they're called. Like, he's in the first one, and then it's like, I wish he and Johnny Depp had switched roles because fuck, man, I would love to hit him way more than Johnny Depp, not only for all the other stuff, but like just like the two performances are like, oh no, like when Colin Farrell goes away, like no, man, like bring him back. I don't want Johnny Depp doing his Johnny Depp thing again. Same fucking character.
On a tangent here about Colin Farrell, a few weeks back, I watched this movie called Dead Man Down, I think,
Mhm.
which is a Colin Farrell movie, which is a WWE produced movie.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, the
Oh,
fuck
like
is...
4 got 10.
Yeah, it was just like, what is this? And he's like really putting in a super duper performance in that. It's a neat little crime drama with a batshit ending. And I'm like, why isn't WWE doing more of this? Just like use your money to make cool little movies instead of like making another fucking The Marine 6 with The Miz. And
Watch yourself.
hey, no, the Marine is fine. Marine 2 through 6, maybe not so much.
Hey,
Not so
check
fine.
your business.
Yeah, I feel like with Colin Farrell, like if we actually put together all of our Patreon money and made a movie, and we're able to hire Colin Farrell, he wouldn't be like, "Fuck is this?" He'd actually like, he'd turn in whatever the fuck we want out of him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If we gave him like $1,000 in a sandwich, he would turn in an honest performance.
I think you would do both. I think you'd be like, "Fuck is this?" and then be like, "Whatever."
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You crazy kids.
Mhm.
But
Although I think he's probably younger than all of us.
the only other thing I wanted to note about Fright Night that the remake at least I had not noticed before is who it was written by, and that's Marty Noxon, who is like one of the co-creators of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Wrote a whole bunch of episodes and whatnot. But like it's funny because like it does the here's title only and all the other credits are at the end thing, so I didn't know that until the end. But this time, like I probably caught it before. It's just all right, that's cool. But there's a good Buffy joke reference thing in there. So
Oh, good.
yeah. Now I get why. But yeah, like I said, I like the remake. It's tonally and structurally it's kind of weird, but I really actually strangely appreciate it. Like it feels like it actually breaks the 3-act structure sort of, but it kind of works too. So, but yeah, I don't
The
know.
movie should have been bigger, and Tenet should have been a big star.
Yep. Also, I think I was bemoaning. I don't know if it was on here or when we were saying goodbye to David Tennant on Doctor Who U, a Patreon exclusive podcast over at patreon.com/bmfcast. Where I think I was saying like, oh shit, how can I see Broadchurch? It's all on Netflix in case you want to see Broadchurch. Unless you're like David Tennant, Olivia Colman, Jodie Whittaker, these people we were like, what? They were all on a show together.
Gwen.
Gwen Cooper. Like there's like
Gwen's on it too.
I think
Yep.
is Yanto on it too? Like I feel like someone else from Torchwood might be on it too.
I know Rory shows up.
Yeah, maybe
on
that's it. Okay, but yeah, there's a
Is
lot.
Reese on it?
Big beautiful Reese.
No,
My big beautiful Reese is not on Broadchurch.
no, I don't think so.
Mackie just wants to
Podchurch
take him.
canceled.
He wants to take
I
him
want
to
nothing to
take
do
him to
with
a broad
Podchurch.
church and put his arms around his broad shoulders and broad bury him.
Was Broad Shoulders on?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. ESPN's The Last Dance. We've been watching that.
Yeah.
There's more episodes.
The penultimate episodes, really. 7 and 8 out of 10. Covering best season of all time, 96. And also his whole baseball retirement deal.
Yep.
The time they spent on stuff, I was kind of surprised. I thought they would spend more time on the Magic beating them, but I mean, that really only gets a couple minutes.
Yeah, it's weird. 'Cause
And then
there's
the 96 season where they win 72 games is like a 3-minute montage, which feels super weird. Like they gave more time to his 63-point game in Boston that they lost than they do like, okay, here's the greatest NBA season of all time. And I say this as a Warriors fan who watched them lose in the finals after beating that record. But, it's just an odd structure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's weird because my real life knowledge dipped around this point. Like I just kind of stopped paying attention to sports altogether. It's come in waves for me where I'm like,
Yeah.
I like sports, and then it's like, nah, I devote my mind to other things, and then I like sports again. So I knew they like became good and got another three-peat, but I kind of like didn't really like super pay attention to it. It was like, oh yeah, sure, he came back and the Bulls started winning again.
Hey,
of course,
Jordan won again.
Yeah.
How about that?
but I totally forgot that like he came back not quite even like a little bit into the season, and they lost that season. I totally forgot that there was still like it wasn't just like, yeah, I retired for a year, came back, and guess what? We started winning again. I forgot that there was that like buffer year where they did not win. So
Yeah. Yeah, they talk about Space Jam too. Yeah.
The second one?
No, the original, but holy shit. Like I kind of forgot that he made that movie after losing to the Magic and after coming back from baseball where like he was basically out of shape. Like that's why he lost, was he was just like winded at the end of all those Magic games. And he was like, the guy's kind of like not human in that he was making the movie from like 7 a.m. call to 7 p.m. All right, we wrap for the day. Then he played basketball with like all these NBA All-Stars who just got invited out to come play fucking basketball in this little bubble thing they built for him.
Yeah, they
with,
basically
like,
built him like a little personal gym,
Yeah.
essentially.
like he basically said, if I'm going to be in the movie, I have to have this because I have to train. So he had a full basketball court plus like an entire weight room in this big tent, like this big bubble tent thing. And then he's got like all these NBA All Stars there just playing pickup games for like 3 hours every night. And then he'd work out. And then he'd go to sleep. And then he'd be back up for, back shooting at 7 in the morning for the entire summer. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, how do you do this? Like, how humanly, like if I stay up till 2 now and I wake up at like 8, I'm a mess. I'm like, I can't do anything. I need a nap, and it's like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that day is ruined.
Yeah.
Like you wake up and you go, well, today is just worthless.
Yeah. And
Nothing is going to happen today.
Not today.
yeah. And I guess it kind of focuses on how inhuman he is, but like also like just how insanely driven the guy is. But I mean, this is the one where it's like, okay, like, there's a lot of slights that he perceives so that he can motivate himself. But this is the one where they just get like the pettiest ever, because it's like when they're talking about the 96 finals where they played the Sonics, where like Bob Costas is like, this is the most lopsided finals matchup ever. And I'm like, dude, the Sonics were the number 2 team that year. The only reason it seems lopsided is because the Bulls just set the record for wins ever. But like the coach of the Sonics was a UNC guy along, Michael Jordan. That's where he went to college. And Michael takes this slight because they were eating at the same restaurant and that guy didn't come over and say hello to him. So he just said, so I just went out and fucking destroyed him for 5 games. It's like, what? And it's like, and it's such a hypocritical thing because like, and somebody pointed out, I think the actual like George Karl himself, the coach who didn't go over, I want to say somebody said he pointed this out on Twitter himself. He's like, if I went over there, Michael Jordan would be like, oh, what the fuck's he doing? Trying to get in my head before the game. Don't come over here, talk to me. Fuck you. I'm going to destroy you for 5 games. It's like, there's so much stuff that like, it's interesting. Like I'm enjoying it so much because Jordan has no like PR filter anymore. Like he has nothing to be like, oh, well, I can't lose my shoe endorsement or any of that, like, because with LeBron, I feel like everything he fucking says is like run by a focus group first before he talks to the media. And this is Jordan just being like, no, fuck that guy. That guy was a piece of shit. I hate him. He's like, yeah, if you aren't motivated to play, fuck you. I don't want you on my team. Like just like basically it's kind of like the honesty people act like Trump has, but he doesn't. But this is like, I think how when people look at Trump and they go, he tells it like it is. This is more like what someone who's actually telling it like it is, how they present themselves, where they're just like, nah, yeah, all right, I'll be honest, fuck that guy,
Well, he's
like,
he's hit that Chappelle stage, like when he came back finally and was like, I'm gonna start doing specials and stuff again, and he just like he had zero fucking filter. He's like, what the fuck do I have to lose? I'm just gonna speak my mind. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, change the channel, like.
Yeah. And I mean, he gets emotion about some of this stuff.
Sure,
I mean, they ask him, they're like, like, is being this driven and this motivated, like you've sacrificed being people looking at you as a nice guy. And he's like, and he kind of actually breaks down a little bit. And he's like, you could see him kind of like tears start to well up. And he's just like, no, I mean, like, this is how I always viewed basketball. And if you can't view it the way I do, then I don't want anything to do with you. And there were people that I had to basically say, no, you're done. Get the fuck away from me. But he gets like choked up about that because I think he realizes, like, yeah, like there's a lot of people in the world who just view you as an asshole. And, he knows, like, I guess it's almost like you don't know if it's like, he basically makes them cut the camera. He says, we're taking a break. And he walks off. And that's how they end one of the episodes. But you kind of wonder, like, is his brain going, yeah, this is the sacrifice I made in order to be like literally the greatest of all time. Or if he's just like, yeah, well, this is I can't process things any other way. It's interesting. It's like stuff that you can't get from acting. You only get that in documentary stuff when people are being like truly honest about stuff and truly reflecting on things. And I think that's why this whole documentary has been so compelling to me. Not only because it's like, okay, I can see them, playing the, Charles Barkley in the finals. And I go, oh, I remember where I was when I was watching that game. there's that sort of stuff. And then that Magic game, of course, where Nick Anderson steals the ball from him. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I was literally in the arena for that. I saw that happen. So there's stuff like, it's nice having that nostalgic memory, but it's also kind of interesting to see the lens that the world was viewing him at that time as well, which the documentary focuses on a lot, in that, the media fucking tore him apart. They were just like, like they were relentless on him. And, he had enough stuff that they were like, yeah, there's something weird about this guy. And, they found the gambling, and the gambling became like the focus of everything. And it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was going to bring that up because that if I have a slight against the documentary and its style, which I think is mostly good, sometimes the out of orderness is a detriment to it, because a couple episodes ago I was like, man, it feels like they tried to cover the whole gambling thing and, was he punished or not thing, and I was like, you're not even going to bring up the retirement theory and, at least dignify it with a no, fuck no, like that's not what happened. And then they finally did. Like, it's like, because it jumped around, it was like it started to dabble into that realm, and then was like, no, we're going to keep talking about what happened. And they're kind of, it's like they're going out of order sequentially, if that makes any sense, because they keep like,
Yeah.
there's like a back in time and then like the 98 season and like parallels and stuff. So it's like they'll go back in time and then like show you a section and then leap back forward and then go back in time and then continue on, sort of. So it's like,
Yeah.
it took a couple more episodes before it was like, now we're to baseball retirement, and was it really retirement? And
Yeah. And the thing about the baseball and the gambling thing is like, it's not just the way they present it, but they present it in a very compelling way, in that it's like, there's people come on, they're like, this guy made the NBA. He made literally billions of dollars for the NBA. Why the fuck would you suspend him and make him go away? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like it literally just makes no sense. It's like, all right, who cares? And especially for like 18 months, it's one of those things that's like, when you look at conspiracy theories, sometimes Occam's razor is the best way to look at them. Is it's basically like, all right, how many people would have to keep this secret? That's like every conspiracy theory. Just start with that. Literally, how many people would have to keep this secret? And it's like, okay, that fails. All right, you can't keep a fucking birthday party secret if it's 10 people. Like, it just doesn't happen. And to think of the money at stake and everything at stake that they had, to basically be like, nah, Michael Jordan, go away. And they even have David Stern, the commissioner at the time, be like, yeah, right, whatever. And I think, and Rod Thorne, who was at the time, I want to say he was like, he was somewhere high up in the NBA at that time, but he's like, how can I put this? Complete bullshit. That theory is complete bullshit. It's like, all right.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they got to it. They finally addressed it very succinctly, which is probably all it deserved. It's like I said, it was weird to me that it felt like they were dancing around that several episodes ago, and then just were like, yeah, we're done talking about the gambling thing anyway, moving on. But it was like, no, because we're kind of going Pulp Fiction-y, but sort of out of, sort of still sequentially, just from years past. It was like it had to get to the natural point where that started to get brought up, and then they were just like, nah, squash that. Like, because, yeah, like you said, it doesn't make sense. But like I said, when you get that close to like, to then not go like, some people believe, that's absolutely not true.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know Michael Jordan has nothing in this is getting through without Michael Jordan's approval.
Sure.
But it's still like, it's one of those cases like, do I think he has a gambling problem? Yeah, probably, but
But also, as someone else put it, it was like his
No.
his $50,000 whatever he owed somebody would be like, yeah, that'd be like if you maybe went a little crazy and bet $100 in a round of golf to him. Like, it's, he can afford it. like that's really nothing to him.
I don't think you heard.
I think
this
someone
from
said that.
Michael
They were like, that's like if you bet $100 on a golf game. A little extravagant, sure. You don't do it all the time, but it's fucking nothing to him.
and also, like, if that was the case, would they let him own a team, which he currently does?
Right.
No.
So,
yeah, but their montage game wasn't quite as on point in these. It's weird. It's almost like they're not as fun anymore because it's the montages are almost like, all right, here's one game. Now we're going on that. And, but their music choices are still top notch, especially the one that they use as they win the 96 finals is really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I guess 2 left, but it's really compelling stuff, and I hope that's not just because I'm such a huge NBA fan, but I think it really, I think this is resonant stuff about, it's almost kind of like, to me, and BJ, you might relate with this, is it's kind of like Jiro Dreams of Sushi a bit, where it's like this guy has sacrificed everything to be literally the best there is at what he does. And this is a very much a documentary about that same sort of thing. I think about Jiro a lot as I think about Michael Jordan talking about how he plays basketball.
That's interesting. Like, remind me of what service this is on.
It's on ESPN right
it's
now.
On ESPN. Yeah.
So you basically need a login to ESPN to be able to watch it.
I think it's going to be on Netflix eventually because they co-produced it, but I'm sure there's some window where it's like it's ours for a while. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, they released it early. They're literally editing these. Like, they're editing the 10th episode right now. So hopefully it's ready in time.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out over the summer, right?
Yeah, it wasn't coming out till like June. I think they were actually going to run it after the NBA Finals had ended.
Oh,
which
okay.
would have been in June, but obviously the world. So
Mm-hmm.
it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will end up watching this because I was a big Bulls fan back in the day when I cared about basketball.
Mhm.
And like I remember watching the NBA Finals for pretty much all the original three-peat, and the second one I was watching the game where Jordan came back. Bulls basketball was a big deal to me in the 90s, and then I think it was when he retired again. I was like, okay, I don't need to watch any more basketball. I've watched the greatest basketball that will ever happen. So,
you didn't miss much in the Wizards comeback.
yeah.
Is this even going to address that? I wonder. Like, I mean, is it going to go beyond? I mean, I feel if it's going to end with the
curious.
Last Dance,
because like the way, I don't know how the documentary will address it, but I mean, it was pretty much he had nowhere to go. Like they said, all right, we're getting rid of Phil Jackson, and he's like, yeah, well, then I don't want to be here if he's not here. And there were no other teams for him to sign with, because nobody had the cap space and the money to pay someone like Michael Jordan, obviously,
and the coach. I mean,
well,
because it would have been a package deal. Like, I think.
He might have gone to another team even if Phil Jackson wasn't there, depending on who the players were. But there was only like 1 or 2 options in the league, and it was like, there's no way. Like, but then he went to the Wizards, so who fucking knows? But he was also, I guess, working in the front office. Like,
I was gonna say,
general manager at the time.
I think he like had some minority stake in it at first, and just so he could play, and then bought the majority stake in it afterwards.
He was donating his salary to charity also.
Yeah, I thought it was like some sort of thing where it's like, I intend to buy the Wizards, but I'm going to play for them first.
Yeah, build them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he ended up buying the Charlotte Hornets. Now they were the Bobcats then.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Yeah, but
because the Wizards aren't the Wizards anymore, right? Aren't they back to the Bullets, or did they stay the Wizards?
No, I think they're still the Wizards.
Oh, maybe that was just a throwback game or something.
Yeah, they might still wear sometimes the Bullets uniforms, but yeah, I don't think they're going back to the name Bullets.
I
That
mean,
would be bad.
I mean, it makes more sense.
It was always bad.
Makes more sense right now than Wizards.
Well, and it's weird seeing like watching the games where the Sonics are playing them, because the Sonics got fucking stolen.
Actually, no. Actually, the Wizards are
Oklahoma City.
super appropriate right now because like
What?
they're bullshit, made up, and they just convince some people that they can do things that they absolutely can't. Yeah, no, Wizards is perfect name actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, Snake
Yeah,
Oil
but-
Salesman was taken.
But yeah, there is one moment where like they show Gary Payton kind of in one of his interviews talking shit at Jordan, and they literally cut from the interview that they filmed to Jordan holding the iPad watching the interview and just laughing his ass off at him. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, that's like I would actually call that like a disc cut, because I mean it's like just the documentary even like hones in on it, like it's like "Rrr, watch this," like because they just have like this like inspirational like Gary Payton like if I'd just been able to do my thing, I was there, I was gonna take down Jordan, and then just like this hard cut to him watching like it on a Surface or whatever bullshit thing, it's just like.
And then basically just being like, I had literally no problem.
Yeah, like I don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I was just messing with you. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Though I just these last couple episodes just haven't been as much fun, I guess. Because I mean, obviously they're covering the murder of his father, so that's not going to be as fun as having a a montage of him dunking to Prince's party man. But
yes.
I can see. Yeah, that
Yeah.
probably makes sense.
Seriously, ESPN, Michael Jordan. It doesn't have to just be MJ. You could do a '90s dunk compilation video to the entire Batman '89 soundtrack and take my money, please. I'm throwing that out there right now.
mm-hmm.
Name your price, Espen.
Yep. So we'll see how they wrap it up next week. But it feels weird knowing it's already over, or basically going to be over next week. But I'm glad we didn't have to wait till June to watch it. Like they were smart enough to push it early when, But I mean, ESPN kind of has no choice, because I swear to God, like the other night it was like the 2001 AL Championship semi-final wildcard game. It's like nobody cares. Nobody cares about this game at all.
They're showing Korean baseball. That's the live thing they've been able to find is like,
Really?
let's watch some Korean baseball. And you're like,
Is that the one with like the fake people in the stands? Like they have cutout people in the
maybe,
stands and shit?
I don't know.
Why?
It's the one with the good bat flips. That's what I hear. The Korean baseball has the best bat flips.
Okay.
So,
I heard like their All-Star game has like a bunting competition, and the All-Star like in the All-Star thing. Like
What?
yeah.
Who can lay down the best bunt?
Yeah, bunting's hard, dude. Like
It
bunting
is. It's very hard.
severely underappreciated skill, but it's just like
But how do you judge
but we're
it?
America. We only care about power.
Here you go, ESPN. I will fix it for you. You don't even have to change your name. You just become the esports whatever are in ESPN. I mean, just like you could do that. People could do
They've done
esports.
some-
They did that, and man, everyone
just
lost
suck.
their shit.
I'm just saying, like you could do that remotely. Like esports are probably still happening. Probably not the big like gatherings, but I'm sure there's still some sort of tournament type things happening. You could use
There
it.
was
Cover
a
a LAN
big-
party.
I'm saying
there
you,
was a big tournament like 2 weeks ago. There was it was either Fortnite or something like that. So they're going on, but
Sure.
Well, I mean, if they were
Nobody-
smart, they would hire the right teams. But instead, they keep trying to push ESPN people to cover it, and they're like, I don't know. But like, if you sent like a group of people from Giant Bomb, and basically said, we're going to pay you an ESPN salary to fucking cover this, like someone like Brad Shoemaker would fucking kill it. Like it would be amazing coverage, because he'd know what the fuck he's talking about, and he'd have the enthusiasm for it. But ESPN's just like, nope, we're sending Joe Tessitore to cover the StarCraft 2 finals, and he's like, yeah, there's a Zerg, I don't know. Back to you, Jim.
These kids seem to know what they're doing. I don't.
I mean, seriously, you could craft a whole like wrestling style reality show leading up to a tournament, and it's super easy to do. Just like stream practice sessions, watch them playing leading up and getting a backstory about them, and it's it's easy content. Like kids are watching that
I
shit.
guarantee
online.
you an ESPN intern pitched it.
Oh,
And
no,
they
I'm
were
sure.
like, get the fuck out of here, Jimmy.
well, weren't they? Didn't wasn't it like Overwatch League or
Yeah.
something like that? That was televised.
Yeah, that was
in
on
some
ESPN
fashion.
too, and that's
Yeah.
when everyone collectively lost their goddamn minds. They're like, "This isn't sports." Like like ESPN radio guys were just raging. They were just like, "This is bullshit. Not real sports." Which, I mean, true, but still, it's something to fill up your dumb airwaves.
Yep.
You can't just run NFL games 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Or reruns of NFL games.
Yeah.
I had to look it up. Empire and Sports Programming Network. I never knew what it actually stood for.
Oh, I thought it was the Entertainment Sports Network.
Yeah.
Maybe you're looking at a different ESPN.
I don't know. I mean, that's your dictionary. Do we trust them? I don't know.
Not your dictionary.
Give me fucking Wikipedia. We know
Yeah,
we
why
could
don't you try
trust
Jimmy
Wikipedia.
Wales?
I
Let's
mean,
see what
come
he has
on.
to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Entertainment and Sports Programming Network, according to the wiki originally, but now it's like DVD. In a sense, like doesn't actually mean.
Oh, so
anything.
it stands for digital video disc?
Yeah.
Digital video disc.
Digital versatile disc.
Mm-hmm.
Video disc. Fight me. HD DVD is gonna rule.
Okay, Chuck. Or we're already on to another higher format at this point, right?
I know.
Okay. Like that
I'm
format.
just thinking back to simpler times when people really gave a shit about which HD disc was gonna win.
I'm just saying we've a whole other generation has passed us. We're about to maybe have 8K discs, perhaps. Who knows?
Oh, now the fight is just discs. Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, is that about it? I don't think we've covered everything that we've watched, right?
I think
And
that
then,
covers
and
all
then
of it.
some.
Yeah.
It's a good variety hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
There's a
variety.
variety of
Good, yeah,
topics.
there was good varietying and good
It's
houring.
a good variety, hour and 17
Have-
minutes.
Have we decided next week's homework assignment?
I got one.
What is it? Let's hear it.
It's another Netflix movie called John Henry.
Oh, the preview came up for that right after I watched Spencer.
Yeah.
Who is in
figured-
John Henry?
Is that the Terry
Terry
Crews?
Crews.
Yeah. Thing. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. It looks like let's watch that.
It looks like sure.
Isn't Ludacris in it as well?
Yes. Yes.
He looked
Oh,
like
I'm
he had-
double in.
He looked like he had an iron chin in the
I believe he
The
has some
preview
sort
of
of metal enhancements.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Metal enhancements.
Yeah. So I think that'll be fine for next week.
All right.
Okay. Did we do contact information in this thing or
Yes.
not? I don't remember if we
Yeah.
BMFcast.com, 9105JOCKS-BMF. There's your contact information. Join the
Mm-hmm.
Patreon. Click the buttons. Do the things.
Yeah.
Give us some money. Buy a t-shirt.
All
Yeah.
those things.
did. Yeah, we actually do things on our Patreon. Maybe more actually now that we're cooped up inside. There's bonus content on there.
Yes.
Bone tent,
Mm-hmm.
as we like to call it.
Oh, we're doing that.
I think that's something different.
Yeah.
I got a
Well,
bone tent going.
Let me pan this camera down.
Yeah, I'm not standing up for a while due to all that bone tent.
Is that where your grandmother is who died in the tent and has just been laying there for a while? It's a bone tent.
Why'd you make
You
it
should
dark?
sweep up grandma. I mean, geez. How hard is that?
I'll show you how hard it is.
Anyway,
Yeah, let's end this,
let's
please.
get out of here, shall we?
Too much
Let's.
variety. Less
I'm
hour.
Harbco.
No, I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And this is Bamfcast out. Stay safe, motherfuckers. And stop.
Stop. You broke Chuck.
Yeah.
He broken.
There
Oh,
was
man.
something that popped up on Netflix. It was like, maybe you would like this. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Read description to me with my eyes. Is what my brain was telling my eyes. and I got down.
RoboCop?
Yes. Because eventually I went, skip, fool. Because I was like, all right, there's people in this that are all right. And then eventually got to, from the creative mind of somebody, and then, the parenthetical, like, you might know them from, and it was Two Broke Girls. And I was like, never mind. You had me until that.
Aw. They might have a bigger reach than just that show.
Maybe, but I've got other things to watch that are more guaranteed to be good than taking a chance on someone that made one of the worst sitcom things I've ever let into my eyes for a few moments.
Mhm.
Aw. Well, okay.
Yeah, I need to go. I want to do the interactive Kimmy Schmidt thing that popped up on Netflix. They did another like Bandersnatch style.
Oh, is it up?
Yeah, I think it's up
Oh,
there
okay.
today.
Hmm.
I guess this was filmed before the pandemic because I think it's got Harry Potter in it.
Really?
Yeah.
The character?
No, what's Daniel
Radcliffe?
Radcliffe. I was stumbling on the last name.
You know, there's also a new David Spade movie on Netflix.
Oh yeah, with Rob Schneider. I saw
and
that
Rob Schneider.
on the
wait.
trending now, and I was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah. Also, for some reason, Netflix has really been pushing hard that Jim Carrey Fun with Dick and Jane movie.
Really?
Yeah, it shows up. I actually got a
That's
push
the first
notification
time
of it.
anyone has pushed it hard.
I got a push notification today for it. They're like, "You might like," and I'm like, "No, I don't." You don't know me at all, Netflix. That movie's 20 years old. Leave me alone.
I seem to remember liking like the director and the writer of that, but going like, yeah, that probably did not come together for them at all.
Yeah, that's just one of those things that didn't work.
I think I saw it, but I don't know. I literally have no idea.
It's that late era of Jim Carrey stuff
God,
where you're
that-
just like,
That movie's 15 years old now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Judd Apatow wrote it,
Oh, okay. Huh.
and the director of Galaxy Quest.
Huh.
Yeah,
Oh shit,
That
that
should be
reminds me.
better.
I found there's that Galaxy Quest documentaries on something. It might be
Oh, right.
Amazon or Hulu or something. It's on something for free, and I was like, "Oh shit, I need to watch that."
Yeah.
Or free-ish thing I
The thing you
have.
pay for now has the thing.
Yeah.
It's probably on Crackle.
Yes, I'm always checking the catalog of
good
Crackle.
old Crackle.
Hey, Crackle's free with Plex now.
Okay.
Wait,
Wasn't
what?
Crackle always free?
Yes.
With ads.
Doesn't it still have ads? The Plex
Yeah, but
free
now
movies.
it's in Plex.
the Plex like movies
The
were.
fuck?
I tried
fuck is
pushing
wrong
play
with you,
on
Chuck?
one thing on the whatever free thing prior to Crackle, and it was one of those deals where it was like, we just randomly inserted commercials.
Yeah.
Like absolutely no rhyme or
Yeah.
reason between scene. It was just like,
I hit play on Roadhouse on that. And
I
it
did
was
the
just
same
like
one.
At 30 minutes in
Yeah.
the middle of a sentence, they just hit you with a commercial. I'm
Yep.
like, oh no,
Nope.
it's bad. Because like there's a couple of cable movie channels, like the Sony movie channel, that has an occasional commercial break, but they do it at a very logical place, and they don't cut the movie in any way. It's just the scene fades out. Here's a commercial break,
Mhm.
and now we go back to the movie.
yeah,
It's-
that's something at least. I mean, that's how you at
Yeah.
least do the free with commercials. I mean,
Right.
I'm the kind of person that I will avoid that, but generally speaking, but at least that's how you do it.
Yeah, the MGM channel does that. They have one commercial break after the first hour. So,
Smart.
but yeah, the original Plex service was like, oh no,
Yeah. No.
they just set a timer for 30 minutes in, roll commercial, and that's bad.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love that Plex got me to upgrade my Mac.
You got to keep up with them Plex updates.
Yeah. Because it auto updated to the point where it's like, this doesn't work anymore. I'm like, you didn't check that before you auto upgraded me, you fucking. God damn it.
I'm starting to eyeball. There's two other competing Plex-like services out there that I'm just keeping an eye on. Like it's one's like NB or MB, like EMBY or something like that. I could look this up, but and then the other one's like it's like it's not jellyfish, it's like jellyfin or some dumb thing. Like, I don't know.
Jellyfin.
I don't know who names
Oh,
this
the
shit.
jellyfin.
I don't know who names this shit, but it's like those are two things out there. And I'm like
Like that Colin Farrell movie, Jellyfin.
I don't dislike Plex. I mean, I actually quite like Plex, but I'm always like, yeah, but
This is better.
I want this like I still like my iPhone versus an Android, and I've tried both, but it's like I there are days I want a little bit more Android in my iPhone and a little bit more iPhone in my Android, and it's just like somewhere I want that middle thing where it's like every once in a while I would like to customize a thing, and don't tell me how to do it, but I don't want to have to do it for everything, you know.
I wish
kinda-
I could put the temperature on my lock screen.
Sure. Yeah, I wish that good morning page, I could just make that my lock screen whenever I pick up my phone. Like, give me
Yes.
the useful information of what you think right now. That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Not when you feel like it. But yeah,
Next iPhone.
like I said, that's why I keep my eye out at these, like, because Plex is kind of like the iOS of, you know, and Cody's like the extreme Android. It's like, no, really put the phone together yourself.
Do you want like 80 different skins like Xbox Media Center used to have?
Right.
We're just like, all right, I got to download this new GitHub thing and new fork of this.
Forks.
Well, I remember trying to make my own Windows shell back when I was going to do a custom cabinet, you know, for arcade machine. And I got to the point where I was actually making UIs that were completely custom for it. But then I was like, wow, this is really not easy at all. And it was also like hogging so much memory, even though it was supposed to let it loose. Like basically be like, all right, we're running this shell so that you don't have to run Windows, but it was not working out at all. But I miss those days of like just stupid skins, like Winamp skins, all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Winamp skins were the best.
Give me stupid skins.
They whipped
for
the
shit.
llama's ass.
Yeah.
Skins.
Yeah, like I had too much fun, and also it was like a colossal pain in the ass, but I also had too much fun. Like when I did the original, I don't even know if it was Cody at the time. It might have been Xbox Media Center. Like when I did the where it would play bad movie trailers and then play our movie thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
I had so many trailers ripped to like run with stuff for movie nights.
Yeah,
God, that was back in the days when I was actually burning them on a video CD so that we could run that CD first and then pop the movie in after.
Yep.
I just found a whole spindle of video CDs and was just like, man, what the fuck was I doing?
I never did video CDs. Like that's the weird thing. I skipped that whole thing. Not a single. I've never touched a video CD that I know of.
You really missed out on literally nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to put a 5-minute music video on a CD and give it to your friends and have them watch it in a 240 by 160 window.
No, I'm good, I think.
Although you can play it on some DVD players, but only some.
Only a couple.
Well, I take that back. I probably had something that would have been considered a video disc because there was those free shit that came with like the Sega CD and the 3DO. I think there was probably like something that was a precursor to DVD.
Oh, those were CDGs.
Maybe, sure, I don't know.
CDs with graphics.
No, well, they had those dumb ones that were just like, hey, look, it's like a visualizer with your music playing. But then they had some that were like, hey, look, there's an episode of fucking Mr. Bean on here or something weird. Just like a sampler content thing where it was like, this was pre-DVD, I know. But they were probably some form of video CD.
Yeah. So are the Frights Night on your Plex?
The
Or
new one
just
is.
just the Tenant one?
Hey, I don't, like I said, I don't, never really cared about the original one.
Okay. But the Tenant one's on there?
I believe so.
All right. I'll probably
If you
try.
haven't seen the original and the sequel, I would say just go watch the Tenet one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you
It's
should,
not gonna-
you
it's
should
not gonna
definitely
do
watch
anything
Lost
for your
Boys.
enjoyment of the new one. So,
Okay.
Do you think you should watch? I think you should watch Lost Boys.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a thing. It's not a terrific movie. It's
I know.
fine,
But
but
there's so many cultural touchstones from
Yeah.
it.
Like
and
Sexy
enjoy
Sax Man.
really young Kiefer being.
I
Weird.
know. It's weird.
Yeah,
Sexy
and there's
Sax
some
Man.
there's some
Man,
good
come on.
'80s bullshit in that.
Yes. Sexy Sax Man.
Well, I mean, it's Schumacher, so yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And just ignore the Haim and the Feldman,
Oh, sweet.
and never ever watch the Lost Boys sequels. Jesus Christ,
Oh, okay.
they're so bad.
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, Haim's the little brother, right? He's Jason Patrick's little brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's normal and okay in it. Like he's the,
okay.
He's the
yeah.
comic book
and there's
nerd
a weird
cipher.
like
Yeah.
the movie is very heavily comic book influenced
Yeah.
in that everyone hangs out at comic book shops and they
Right.
talk comics and
I like that.
yeah, I would watch the Lost Boys.
I used to do that shit.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a Lost Boy.
Maybe. All right. I'm going to get out of here.
I'm Harlow.
I'm not.
I'll see you guys.
And I'm fuck.
Good night.